Hello and welcome to some footage from the Warships carrier Rework test server. Remember, this is work in progress. I don't have the official work in progress overlay from Wargaming, so I just put up my own little flimsy thing. I want to start by saying that I am not the best carrier player on the live server. I'm not the best player at any ship type on the live server, but I'm trying to improve. Mainly due to Flamu, a very skilled World of Warships player, who's got his own YouTube channel, and if you want to improve, I can highly recommend giving him a look. He is, his advice has helped me quite a lot. But, that being said, the carrier play on the live server at the moment is very much an RTS or real-time strategy type gameplay, where you basically use the overhead map to conduct most of your fighting. And apparently, according to Wargaming's research, not a lot of players actually enjoy that kind of gameplay. Obviously, those who enjoy it a lot, so it's going to be a case of not being able to please everyone. Personally, I like the gameplay of carriers, but at the same time I also dislike it, because, as said, there are some very skilled players of carriers in World of Warships, and it appears that everyone assumes that anyone who plays a carrier is automatically very skilled at it. And that's not the case for all of us. Quite the opposite, actually. And no matter how well you try to play, things can go wrong. You can have a bad day, you can get swarmed, you can get mauled, things are just not playing out the way you want them to. And suddenly everything going wrong is your fault. It is a team game, it should be a team effort. And with the strengths of good carrier players and the weakness of not very good carrier players, that's not the case. And Wargaming wanted to change that, and they have changed it into something a lot more action-packed than the overhead view. And if you have any sort of experience with games like Battle Stations Midway or Pacific, or Heroes of the Pacific, the aiming of the different weapon systems becomes quite intuitive very quickly. This is some footage from my first game, where I played the Tier 6 American carrier Ranger. It is Tier 6 on the test server. There's going to be some mixing around with tiers apparently. And these are the strike planes using rockets, which are mainly meant for lightly armored vessels such as destroyers and cruisers, but apparently they are very good at knocking out anti-aircraft fire or anti-aircraft artillery, AAAs. Of the other squadrons, you have dive bombers, whereas in the US carriers you use high explosive bombs, and on the Imperial, Japanese and Navy carriers you use armor piercing bombs. And then of course you have torpedo bombers. No carrier without torpedo bombers. And the control of the planes, there seems to be a bit of debate about whether it's mouse or keyboard or a combination of both, but I'm fairly sure I turned my planes using A and D. If you hold W, you activate a boost, which makes your planes fly faster for a time. There is a limited resource for how long you can do that. It's basically overheating the engines, but you do have a consumable you can use to immediately reset your engine overheating. Those consumables are shared across all your squadrons, so if you manage to get 6 up or whatever, and you use those consumables on the first two, then you don't have any for the remaining flights. While you don't have fighters as such, you do have a fighter consumable, where you can deploy fighters in a given area to help against enemy aircraft. The way the game plays in on the test server at the moment, it's going to be one of those where you either love it or you hate it, I think. I don't think there's... I mean, there will obviously always be some players who will say, meh. But I think it's going to be a love it or hate it situation, to be honest. Initially, I thought it was a bit odd. But I have to admit, as I started playing more games, I found it more and more enjoyable. Switching to the tier 10 midway with much faster planes. After around this time, I think I played 5 games as carrier, something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but lining up attacks quickly became rather intuitive. So damage numbers and things like that feel a bit off, but I mean, it is a test server. That's what it's for. It's for testing, but they are mainly focused on testing a gameplay, carrier versus ships and other ships versus carriers. Because of course, being on the receiving end and knowing how the anti-aircraft behaves is also an important part of the test. And from my experience, to be honest, anti-aircraft from ships feel a bit random, and while you can focus your anti-aircraft artillery on either side of your ship, or just leave it equally balanced on both sides of your ship, it does feel a bit tame. It looks and sounds great, but whereas on the live server, when you target a plane group and you activate defensive fire, if you are playing something like a Des Moines, that plane group will vanish. You're quite sure that that plane group will vanish, but it just doesn't seem to be the same. I don't know, rewarding response. I don't know what to define it as, but it does feel a bit. Am I actually having an impact? In truth, half the games I was playing as artillery ship, as they are called. I didn't pay attention to carriers, unless I could shoot at them. The planes were buzzing around from time to time, and it was very few times that I had to focus my attention on them, and it's basically just trying to avoid getting attacked by the different squadrons. While the squadrons are quite big, each squadron are only attacking using part of the group, as you can see. At higher tiers, I don't know how it scales up, but at least at tier 10 currently, your squadrons are 12 planes and 3 of them attack in one go, so you have 4 attacks before they are forced to return to the carrier for rearming. And you can return them to the carrier at any given time, just not during an attack. As you can see, the return to base command is dimmed out or locked out when you are in an attack run. As you start losing planes or they need rearming, they will slowly recharge on your carrier, and you will get a message that certain plane types are ready for takeoff. That is to prevent you from just cycling one plane type constantly. How do I feel about this as a semi-casual carrier player? Well, I do find it enjoyable. I have to admit, after a few games it became more and more enjoyable, and there is something very exciting about landing a good salvo on a ship. As you can see, my carrier has just been sunk, but I still have control of the flight group that I had in the air, and you are allowed to finish off attacking or fly around and scout. And to be honest, on that note, I think having a 3-minute grace period is perhaps a bit too long, because you are effectively out of the game, but you can still fly around and scout and things like that, and 3 minutes for that seems a bit too generous. 1 minute perhaps? I don't know, but in any case, I think I'm going to quote what Flamu said when he was first talking about the carrier rework, and that is that he was a cautious optimist when it comes to the gameplay changes, and I could definitely see myself playing carrier more than I do at the moment. I have outright stopped playing carriers because I know the rework is coming at some point. So yeah, that's all I have to say about this, and I hope you found this video somewhat informative and somewhat interesting. I know I'm not the most skilled player in the world, but there you go. In any case, I will say thanks for watching, take care, and see you again. Bye bye for now.